or someone would ask me the other day, she's like, what are you going to do when you actually find someone really similar to you? Would you get along? I was like, gosh, no way. Welcome back, everybody. So today we've got a special guest on the show. We've got Becc Snow, the owner of Alchemy Hair. So Becc, what's one thing you can do to start your day with a smile?
I think I guess I was thinking about, my answer to this question, but I think just waking up in the morning and just being grateful for everything. I always think about, everything that's going to happen that day, and it's just always something to be happy about, always something positive, and something to be grateful for. So that's what I would say.
It's a nice way to start with something good.
Yeah.
Now, at the moment, you're currently in Melbourne because from my understanding, this is the first week of your new salon being open. How did your first week of opening go?
It went so well. It could not have gone better, honestly. It's just been so smooth. Nothing's gone wrong. Obviously, we hadn't used the space before, so anything could have happened. But thankfully, it's all gone really well. We've been super busy, and everyone's happy and positive, so it's great.
Yeah. Now you've gone from having one salon to two salons. That's taking a lot more on your plate. Have there been any big struggles you've had in terms of actually having the time to be able to handle two salons together?
Nothing that I have faced just yet. I'm pretty lucky that I have my whole team between two salons are amazing and super supportive of having a second business. And, the whole team in Traralgon were aware that by having the second one, it meant that I wasn't going to be there as much. And they've really all stepped up and really taken on that role. So no, I don't have really any. I think also it's not something I fully understand yet. Like it's just going to happen. I don't really know what to expect, but so far it's all been pretty good, and I've been able to spread my time evenly.
Yeah. Well, look, congratulations on opening the second salon. It's such a big achievement. And in terms of where Alchemy started, it's grown so much. Where was it when it first started? Because obviously you didn't just go straight from, being a hairdresser to owning your own salon. There must have been a few little steps along the way.
Yeah, definitely. I always wanted to have my own salon. It's just always been the plan. There was never any other option. And I guess, to get the salon open, my husband Chris and I, we just worked super hard, saved our money. We actually renovated our whole house ourselves and were able to get it started by doing that, and just slowly built it up. It definitely was nothing like what it is now 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Just been like slowly adding little bits and constantly investing into the business to build it to what it is today. And now, second one.
So have you always been in hairdressing?
Apart from my 15-year-old part-time job, then so I finished year 12 and then went straight into hairdressing. So I got my apprenticeship and straight into it.
So for, let's say, a young hairdresser that's wanting to get into a career in your profession, what would be some of the best steps that they could take to be able to actually go from, being in school, I guess, studying, trying to figure out what they want to do, to be able to actually pursue a career in what's a very creative career?
Well, we're pretty lucky with hairdressing. A lot of salons do hire like salon assistants and things, so you can get yourself a job on like a late night. The salons are open till 8-9 o'clock at night. So if you're at school still, definitely trying to get a job, or even just honestly, if you're that keen, go and volunteer your time, even just one night a week or something, to just experience it and actually figure out if it's something you want to do. But even I know we've just put on a young girl on Saturdays, and she wants to be a hairdresser eventually and do her apprenticeship. So that's the best way to get your foot in the door. But even if you can't get a job, just volunteer your time and get some experience.
Because being a hairstylist it involves caring about someone so much. And I feel like that's a very, very hard skill to learn. Do you think that it's something that, you know, you've been gifted with yourself, or something that you've had to work on throughout your career to get, you know, to get really, really good at?
Yeah, I guess it's something that when you first start, I don't think what I thought hairdressing was going to be is what it actually is now. It's so much more than what I ever thought it was going to be, and it does require so much of like yourself. Like you really have to love what you do and care about other people, because there's so many ingenuine, people, I guess, that do hairdressing, and everyone knows they've gone and gotten a haircut before or whatever, and you just get, oh, how's the weather today, and like the generic kind of conversation.
Yeah.
You want to do it and actually want to connect to people and like learn about people and create relationships, and because doing someone's hair is quite a personal thing, so it needs to be taken pretty seriously.
Because I know from my experience in hairdressing, like from when I was in Sydney, I had the same hairdresser pretty much since I was a kid, and I refused to go to anybody else. Like there was one guy that could do it and one guy only, even though it was pretty much the same haircut every time. You know, be able to build up that rapport and that trust is something that can't really teach. Even hairdressing courses and I'm not sure if anything can really teach it. Do you find that there's any way that someone can work on it themselves? Is there any way to be able to improve how much you can be able to empathize and be able to support someone's emotions?
I think you definitely can learn to. Like, I know when I started, I was an incredibly shy person. I wouldn't put myself out there or anything. But once you kind of, you do gain a lot of confidence, I think. And when you do see what hairdressing and that connection with people can do for somebody else, you get an understanding of how important that is. And I think a lot of the time, everyone has it in them. Everyone's, a good person and has good intentions and, wants to help other people. It just is like understanding people just in general. Basically just understanding people, having confidence in that, and just time also, just experience, learning, talking to so many different people. You definitely can learn it, I think, yeah.
I guess another really hard thing about being a hairstylist too is you're under the pump all day. Like, I've been in the salon and there's just things happening everywhere. Like there's people jumping around here, there's people jumping around there. And I feel like that could be really intimidating, especially working long hours, to be able to cope with this constant demand of there's always a little bit of coloring to do here, there's always a little bit of hair drying to do there. Do you find there's any way that you'd be able that you can help your young hairdressers to be able to time manage a little bit better? Like, is there any things that you find it's important to prioritize over something else?
Definitely, yeah, definitely. I think because with hairdressing, it's not something you just go do a course and then you're straight into it. Like, you do your apprenticeship, and a lot of the time people start out as a salon assistant. So, you start out just doing your late nights and having watching everything that's going on and slowly building up. So it's not like you're just thrown into it. But time management, I guess, we definitely prioritize our clients. That's the number one thing, because, even with things like, lunch breaks and little things like that, if somebody needs you, that's the priority. And especially in our salon, helping each other out is a massive thing. If somebody else is running really late, you're going to give up your time to help them. So I think just, having your priorities straight and knowing that our clients are the reason we're even able to come in and do what we love. So they're the number one priority. And then our team is the second after that, and everything else, gets done in time. With such a large team as well, everybody's always got little 5 minutes here and 2 minutes there. So I think because we create such a big team culture, it's nobody just goes and sits down and does nothing in their little breaks. Everyone, there's always something to do also, always something to do.
Yeah. And I guess that team dynamic where you all help each other out, and if you get a spare couple of minutes, you give it to someone else. That can be a hard thing to create sometimes in the business world. And you seem to be able to have this chemistry of just tying people together and creating this alchemy family. Is this something that you actively try and create in each of the salons?
It's definitely a focus. Like, yeah, it's definitely something, you know, when I was going through the interview process for my new team in Smith Street, it's, you know, something I definitely tell people about, and that's what we're trying to create. But at the same time, I don't ever force anything. Things are just going to happen the way they're meant to happen. And sorry, just pause for a second. Yeah, I think things are going to happen the way they're going to happen, and it's either going to work or it's not. So we kind of have a bit of a rule of like, you know, you just, and I like to just go by the energy. Like, you can just feel if people are the right kind of people, and if they're genuine and have good intentions. And if not, they just don't last. You know, they'll end up leaving or something, you know, eventually, if it's just not for them. So I think we just, like, you know, the whole term, like, your vibe attracts your tribe. I think that's very much the case with alchemy.
I like that. Your vibe attracts your tribe. And it's so true. Like, your tribe that surrounds you is, you know, you reflect the people that kind of make up that little flock, that little gang around you that, you know, and because the hours are so long, they're around you so much of the day. And
Absolutely.
and if there's someone that doesn't really fit in that team, I feel like it could really detract from that culture of, you know, of you ladies supporting other ladies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're super. I think the bigger that the team gets as well, the stronger that is, and it probably can be a bit intimidating for people coming, like, from the outside coming in. But, you know, we're so welcoming, friendly, supportive. But, you know, if somebody comes in, I think we're so protective of that, like, team thing. If someone has anything negative to say, or they come in with, you know, a bad attitude, we're just like, you know, that's not a vibe. Like, we just, you know, kind of, yeah, protect our culture and each other in that way. So,
Yeah.
but, you know, like, people are like that. Most people come in because that's what they want. Like, that's generally when people are applying for jobs with Alchemy, that's the number one thing that they want. They want that family team vibe.
Yeah. So let's say you've got a new hairstylist coming through. I feel like hairdresser is not the right word. I feel like it's not creative enough. I feel like hairstylist fits much better. Let's say you have a new hairstylist coming through, and they're not displaying the traits that you would so want in your hardworking, dedicated hairstylist. Are there any main tips or things that you were trying to get them to work on to be able to actually improve those little areas that you find really attractive in an employee? Sorry.
It definitely is. This is something I'm still learning about as well. Like, I think it takes a long time to be able to really read people and figure out those things. But I definitely give it time. Like, if somebody comes in and they're not necessarily displaying straight away, you know, that they're not super open, or, you know, whatever it could be, we give it time to work on that, because I guess I relate it back to myself. Like, when I started, I was so shy, closed off, and it wasn't because I didn't want to be part of the team or didn't want to be doing all these things. It was just because I was so intimidated and, you know, I guess not confident in myself. So I see that in other people. So generally we just try and we're big on, like, you know, hyping each other up and making everyone feel great. And someone does a good color or whatever, we'll really, like, make them feel good. And so then they start to come out of their shell, and you get to understand who they are a bit more, and they feel a bit more welcome.
Yeah.
But yeah, after an amount of time, I guess you can start to see if those things don't change in someone, then maybe this isn't the right place for them to be working.
Yeah.
Because, you know, neither of us are going to end up happy in the end. So yeah, but those things just kind of have a way of working themselves out. It's not like I really ever have to do anything about it. It just ends up fizzling out one way or another, because it's just not meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha. So what would be one tip, your one main tip that you would give to a young hairstylist that's handing in their resume? You know, they've just come in all nervous. They're trying to find their first job. What would be one thing that would help them stand above the rest of the applicants?
I love when people come in and want to actually talk to me, I guess, and, like, express to me why they want to work at my salon. I want to hear about why you want to be a hairdresser, and I want to know about you. Like, you know, whenever, I guess, people, it's formally right to send in your resume, but I always ask for a cover letter because I love hearing a little bit more about the person, because, you know, your past experiences and all these things, that's one thing, but it's not the most important thing. Like, I want to know why you want to work here in my team. You know, what is it about us that draws you in? So yeah, just be open, friendly, try not to be too nervous, I guess, even though it is terrifying walking into a new workplace, you know,
Yeah.
especially when it's important, you really want the job.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell me about why you want to be there and, like, yeah, what draws you in, I think.
Yeah, gotcha. Now, look, one thing I think people don't really realize is how stressful it can be in terms of running your own business. Now, it's something that I guess not many people really have to worry about in terms of, you know, for example, when COVID came in and all of a sudden salons and all, you know, beauty parlors and makeup and all those types of things, so they had to shut. That's, you know, you know, we never could have imagined that would ever really happen. And people don't understand the impact that that can have on you as a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I know these times have been challenging, but have they presented you with any opportunities to be able to actually grow the business as opposed to having to just kind of, you know, shut your doors and wait for all these things to end?
Yeah, it definitely is pretty crazy how, you know, this year's been so full of negative things, but so many opportunities have arisen from it. I think, you know, we did close in my Traralgon salon for 5 weeks, and everyone had all this time off. All of a sudden, you know, no one ever has that much time off, and everyone really had time to think about, you know, what was important to them and all of that sort of thing. So I think a lot of my team members went through a bit of a process of, you know, really figuring out what they wanted to do with their lives and, like, what was important to them. And I guess that was an impact. I don't want to say negatively, but I guess it can be a little bit of a stressful thing, you know, because you have your team and you need people there to keep that alive. But it was also a really nice thing because it's kind of realigned everyone, and it's everyone, now that we're coming back and everything's starting to, you know, start to kick off again. Everyone's just so motivated and so ready to just, I don't know, they've just really, like, got a clear vision of what they want now, and they're just going to head straight for it. So it's really exciting as well.
Yeah, you know, COVID really highlighted to everybody, you know, what's important, you know, what to focus on rather than being distracted from all the rest of the, you know, the little chaotic things that can happen in life. Now, I was mentioning, you know, stress a little bit there before. Are there any particular strategies or things that you do in your life to be able to handle the stress of running your own business? Or two, should I say now?
I actually had one of my new team members in Smith Street ask me this week, like, how do you stay so calm? Why are you so calm all the time? But, you know, there's just, like, I guess there's always it's always just great. Like, there's always so many things to be happy about, and just not, you know, there's always also worse things that could be happening. So I do try and stay pretty, like, chill always. If I ever get, you know, worked up or stressed about something, take the time to, like, think about, okay, so what's actually happening? What's the worst thing that could happen? Is it really that bad? Probably not, you know. So I guess just trying to be realistic and not get too worked up about things that, you know, it's very easy to stress out about things that aren't happening or that could happen, and just not letting that get to you and focusing on the right now. And especially having so many people who rely on you, I just don't allow myself to freak out or have any, like, you know, massive stressful times, because it's only gonna end up making them feel that way as well, and I just don't want that.
Mm. And it can be really hard once you get caught in that trap of, oh my gosh, everything's going crazy, and then everything gets overwhelming, and everything kind of can get a little bit foggy. And then it's like, we were talking about priorities before, it can become hard to focus on one particular thing. Is there anything that you can do throughout, you know, let's say at the beginning of the day, to be able to pick out the main things that you actually need to try and achieve that day to make sure that it's as good a day as it can be?
I have been trying to do a little bit of, I don't know if you'd say journaling, but just taking 10 minutes at the start of the day. I haven't been very good at it lately, to be honest, but I did try and start just having a notebook, writing down my, like, priorities for that day, and, you know, because I have like a list constantly in my head and it just never ends. So it's nice to put that on paper and say, okay, today I want to achieve this, I need to do this, email that person, call that person, whatever. And that way you do start to actually check things off on your list and work through it rather than it just constantly cycling around in your mind.
I'm a chronic to-do lister, and like my diary is just filled with these little well-organized little lists, and then I tick it off as I go, and it gives you a little reminder of what you actually got done that day. I guess one thing I find for me though is sometimes my to-do list, they get too crowded. There's too much stuff on there that you kind of lose focus of the important bits for that day. And, you know, sieving through them, I find, especially in the morning, can be really helpful. And like you said, I think journaling is such a good way to do it. Or, you know, taking that 10 minutes. Yeah, everyone's got 10 minutes in the morning somewhere to be able to kind of, you know, plot through and say, okay, cool. These are all the things I'd love to get done today. And then, you know, if you can get through 75% of them, hey, it's better than getting 0% of nothing that you planned on.
Yeah, absolutely. Instead of just thinking about them all day and then nothing actually gets done.
Exactly. Now, I believe you've been nominated for an award. Now, I'm under the understanding that it's quite a big award, and I'll let you tell me what type of award it is, because I get the feeling I might get the words wrong.
So is this in reference to the Fame team?
Yeah, so the Fame team.
Yeah, so I entered a competition. I think it's hard to keep track now because everything's gotten pushed back, but I think it was the beginning of the year, and it's called the Fame Team, which is a mentoring program. It's something I'd looked at for so long and was always so curious about. And basically, it's a team that gets put together once a year of 4 people, and it's just a year-long mentoring program, and you just get the most amazing experiences and opportunities to work with some of the best people in the industry. So it's just like they call it a fast track with your career. So something I'm definitely interested in. And yes, I was nominated as a finalist for that this year.
Well, congratulations. So
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean that's it's because the Fame Awards are across Australia, aren't they?
Yes, anyone in Australia can enter. Yep.
So at the moment, and there's 12 finalists so far, and 4 people get selected at the end.
Yeah, 14 people are finalists, and then 4 of us make it to the team.
So I don't know how many hairstylists there are across Australia, but at the moment you kind of made it to the 12 that are vying off for the top 4. That's pretty good.
It's pretty exciting, and like the other people in the team are just, in the finalist team, I guess, are pretty incredible. So we've also been working together quite a bit, just doing Zoom chats and stuff. So it's been great to like vibe with people who are all just achieving such incredible things.
And I feel like that's almost the opportunity of a lifetime. You get to draw on the experiences and the knowledge from the people literally, that I guess you would look up to at the top of your field.
Absolutely. It's an incredible opportunity, and we're so lucky to even have a competition like that available to us in our industry. And that's why I love hairdressing so much, because there's just so many amazing, inspiring people that you can work with, and everyone really just builds each other up. So I hope that one day I can actually make the team and then be part of this whole mentoring program as well. I'd love to like give that opportunity to other people. That would be amazing.
That would be incredible. And it's one of the best ways to learn, is to be able to teach other people too. And
it's one thing yourself, but you then need to pass that on. And that's what I think I love so much about having big teams and things as well, because I can do all this and experience all this, but then I can give that to them as well, and just create more inspired, talented, amazing hairdressers to keep sharing the love and inspiring others again.
And in terms of Alchemy as a salon, I understand there's the hair stylist side of things, and I believe there's also some other elements to the business too. So I think there's makeup in there too. And then
we do makeup in the Traralgon salon.
Yeah. And I think, as I can see behind you too, there's obviously lots of products that come along with these things too. Now, one thing I've noticed about the hairdressing industry is it's got to look good. Everything has to look incredible. Like all the products, just, shampoo, conditioner, all these other, I don't know, my housemate has this one called superfood therapy, and they all have these amazingly designed names and bottles that just visually capture the eye. Did you find that it was a challenge to be able to try and design the salon itself to be able to recreate this amazingly beautiful industry?
It definitely is stressful, and I'm very much like a visual kind of person, so I find it hard to imagine what something's going to look like. It needs to be in front of me. So, so many times I was trying to draw things up and like think about how it was going to look, but it all comes together. And I had, I guess, the vibe interrelevant, so I've recreated that here. But yeah, I guess especially at the moment, a hair appointment is like a holiday for people. So every it needs to feel like an experience and a luxury kind of vibe, and people want to feel pampered and looked after, because especially in Melbourne right now, like people are the hair salon is one of the only places that you can actually come to after leaving your house. So it's literally like a holiday for people right now. So all the little details need to be on point, and giving people that real fancy feel when they come to the salon.
Yeah, and in because the I know the salon in Traralgon, it looks incredible. There's huge indoor plants everywhere, and it all just makes sense. Do you think that your sense of design is something that you've had to naturally work on and improve over time, or is it just something that you just knew it straight away? Like this is the things I love to see, and I'm just going to put them here.
Yeah, I think designing the second salon was a little bit different because the building itself was very different to the building I have in Traralgon. It has a lot more character. It's like very old, so I did have to tweak things a little bit, but I have my things that I like, and my set of like everything's very black and white, neutrals, lots of indoor plants, and we have the same thing here. Um, but yeah, I guess we've added some little elements into the Melbourne salon that we don't have in Traralgon. So it definitely develops over time, but I haven't really, I'm a bit nervous to work with, like an interior designer or something, because I do have a really specific way that I like things to be. So it might be something I look into in the future, because there's probably someone out there that can do it better than me. But for now, I feel comfortable just doing it myself and working on it myself.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, it's another tool in your toolbox. It's another thing that you can bring to make it your own business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, in terms of your own self-development, because to be able to get to where you are today, it's a long journey that would have faced some real troubling, hard times. Is there anything that you found has worked really well for you in terms of being able to develop your character to be able to deal with the hard times?
I think, again, I know I keep going back to my team, but having the right people around you is everything. Like that could change things so much if you just had people who weren't supportive of you. And everyone that works for me is so excited about every new development that happens in the business, or just for me personally. So that is a huge thing, because like I have mentioned before, like I wasn't super confident when I started. So yeah, having people around you that can help build you up and make you feel good and confident about what you're doing is definitely a huge part of it. And just, really taking the time to look at what you have done and like reflect and, understand and respect the effort that you have put in, and seeing how far you've come, I guess. Taking the time to enjoy the right now, and don't just keep focusing on more and more and more all the time. Like really enjoying what you have created.
Yeah, reflecting on what has come to be rather than what might be in the future. And I think something I struggle with a lot is appreciating things in the moment and just being happy for what they are, and how far you've actually brought them along. And I've seen you girls in action. You know how to celebrate, and you know how to have a good time. So I don't think that's too much of a trouble for you.
No, it's really nice to have those times all together when we can just sort of, be all together and we're not working and we just really like get to have that love and support for one another outside of work as well, and just, celebrate what we have and what we've created together.
Yeah, yeah. So in terms of when new hairstylists come to the salon, I would say that someone in a new career is definitely looking for a role model, someone to be able to line up behind and copy and shape and form their own style from. Has there been anyone in particular for you that's been that key role model?
Um, I think we do have, I guess, our core like senior team, which really have all the values that I would like our younger staff to look up to. We have Ali, who has been in with me from the very beginning at Alchemy, and she's definitely a role model. She's passionate, she's hardworking, she's a highly skilled stylist, and she's always encouraging everybody to do more and, what's the next thing, and, giving them confidence. So she's definitely someone that I know the girls already look up to. And there's also Abby, she's also the same. She's pretty new into our team, but she's come in with such an incredible energy and people just gravitate toward her. And, she's also so highly skilled. And I don't know, I could say the same thing about everyone, to be honest, because everyone's a role model in themselves. But definitely those senior girls are the ones that I'm proud to have in the salon and that the other girls can look up to.
How about you? Before you were there, before you were the name behind Alchemy. You had to pick up and learn your skills somewhere. Was there anyone that you looked up to that you really wanted to be like on your journey towards the top?
There wasn't really, I guess, I follow a lot of different hairdressers and people on Instagram, but I never really connected with that many people in person. I honestly just did a lot of it myself and hoped for the best. But now it's only really just now as I have started to develop my own career, because I was so focused on just Alchemy and the salon and that as a business. But now I have been, entering more competitions and things, meeting more people, and I would say, it's probably going to sound really cheesy, but there's a guy, David Manor, and he owns the Fame team and, the competition and the awards and things, all of that. But I just am so inspired by him, and I really want to be someone like him in the industry one day. He supports up and coming artists and hairdressers and creatives in general so much, and he's like I said, the creator of the Fame team, so that's something that he doesn't have to do, but he just wants other people to grow and thrive and be their best selves in the industry. So I would really like to be like him one day, working with younger people, building them up, because there's definitely a tendency, it's not so much now, but it's getting a lot better, but there's a lot of people, I'm sure, in all industries that when they make it to the top, they don't really share that with everybody else. It's just very much like, well, I made it here, and I guess, I don't know, they just think that they don't need to share that. But I think it's the more that you learn, the more you should share with other people, and he definitely portrays that. So that's what I would like to be like.
Yeah, and then look, I think you're modeling that in your work at the moment. You take on the Alchemy family under your wing, and you pick them up and you say, come on, let's do this together. Well, it's not worth it unless everyone makes it the whole way. You can't leave any of that little family behind.
Absolutely.
So if there was one person you could cut their hair right now, you can pick anybody from anywhere around the world, from the past or even in the future, who would you pick?
My God, what a huge question.
Yeah.
Who would I pick? Maybe someone like now that we're in Melbourne, I just know there's so many cool people around. So someone like I don't know why, but like Vera Blue comes to mind. She has the most beautiful hair, and I know that she's had her hair done in salons in Melbourne before, so she's someone I would love to do her hair. And I really love her as a musician as well. So yeah, I would say Vera Blue.
Vera Blue, that's a good pick. That's a very good pick. Well, I really hope she walks through your doors one day and all of a sudden you just get your mind blown. Like, oh man, that just hearing that news would make my day too.
It'd be pretty cool.
And look, Becc, thank you so much for coming on the show today. You've got some really good insights in terms to what it takes to be able to succeed in a creative business world. And it's something that's quite foreign to me, as in terms of my work, it's all very science based. It's not very, I guess, your own personal style, or having to shape someone to be what you think looks really good. And it's I've had a great time getting to hear about today. So thank you so much for giving us your thoughts and opinions.
Well, thank you for having me, giving me the time to share the Alchemy story.
That's all right. So if people listening in Melbourne want to try and find you and come in and see what the Alchemy practice on Smith Street is all about, where can they find you?
So we are number 408 on Smith Street in Collingwood. Yeah, hit us up. Come on in. Brand new salon. We'd love to see you. And yeah, I don't have anything else to add to that.
It's all right.
Come
Well,
on in.
we'll have a lovely day and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks so much.
No worries.